By investing your money early, you can retire when you want, or splurge and travel around the world, or buy a huge house. Whatever it is you want to do, by investing early, you can do it. As a high school student, my first thought about money was that although it is very important, it doesn't really matter to me right now. But that couldn't be farther from the truth. It is very important to invest when you are young, so that you can have a nest created for yourself when you are older. By investing in high school, I am preparing myself for the option of retiring early, taking off a year of work to travel, or doing whatever I want without having to worry. The best way I see to invest my money now as a minor is through opening a Vanguard Target retirement fund. So that's exactly what I did. I will now show you the steps of how I did it. The first thing you should do is search the Vanguard site for the Vanguard Target Retirement Fund of the year you think you will retire, or the year you want to pick. I'm 16 years old in 2013. So if I say I will retire when I'm 60, I would retire in the year 2058. Because I want to be safer with my money, and I know that I might want to withdraw the money earlier, I chose the safer 2055 retirement fund. If you pick an earlier date, you are being safer with your money, and if you pick a later date, you are being more risky. This is because the Vanguard Target Retirement Fund automatically changes the allocations of your money from more stocks and less bonds when you are farther from the date you chose, and more bonds and less stocks when you get closer to the date you chose. For the 2055 fund, these are the percent allocations. There is a 63% in the U.S. stock market, 27% in the international stock market, 8% in the U.S. bonds, and 2% in international bonds. As time goes on, there will be more invested into the bonds and less invested into the stocks. This is because, as you get closer to your retirement, you want to know that your money is safer and isn't going to shift a lot, and you get that safety with bonds. Once you have selected the fund that you want, click Buy in the top right corner. It will then bring you to this screen. For me, I didn't have an account, so I selected the option to open a new account. I also was not registered on Vanguard.com, so I selected No. This shows you the steps that you're going to need to take. First, you create your account. Then you select your investments, which we've already done since we went through the Vanguard account site. Then you select your funding method, basically how you're going to pay for this and where the money is going to be coming from. And then you review your account. First, you have to select what kind of account you want. I selected the college account, but because it is the only one that minors can be involved in. I also selected the UTMA account so that I could have power in my money versus my parents having all the power. There are two different types of accounts that a minor can be involved in. There's the guardian account and the custodial accounts. The guardian accounts are where parents are more responsible, and the custodial accounts are where the minors are more in charge. There are also two types of custodial accounts, UTMAs and UGMAs. The UTMA is slightly more flexible, but they are basically the same thing, which is why the Vanguard account groups them into one category. After selecting the UTMA-UGMA account, you can enter the information for the minor. You then enter the address for the minor. You then do the same for the custodian or the guardian. You then select the type of investments for your UGMA-UTMA account. I selected the Vanguard funds because that is what I believe I wanted to invest in. You then review the account information and make sure that everything entered is correct. Here, if you wanted to add another account, you could do so. You then choose how much you want to invest. There is a $1,000 minimum, which I chose to follow because I can always add more later, but I just wanted to start with $1,000. Next, you have to choose your payment type. I chose to do the electronic bank transfer because it's the easiest, fastest, and safest way considering the fact that I live overseas. You then review and make sure that everything is okay. For me it was, so I just continued. You have now selected what you want to invest in, and so now it's time to sign up or restore account access. For me, I've never done this before, so I'm signing up. Of course, you have to agree to the terms and conditions of use. Then, you enter your personal information. It auto-filled this information for me, so I chose not to show, but it's basic things such as your name, your date of birth, etc. Then you create a username and password. Make sure it's something secure, because this is a big deal. Someone could get access to your money and finance, and a lot more. So it's important to choose a good, hard-to-guess password. If you want, you can sign up for an e-service package. If you choose that you want to get everything actually sent to you by mail, you have to pay $20 per year, which adds up to a lot considering the fact that you might have this account for 40 or more years. Personally, I chose to do the e-service package so I wouldn't have to pay that $20 yearly fee. I didn't screenshot the final step, but after this, you select a picture that you want to come up and appear every time that you go on to the Vanguard site and plug in your username. It is there to show you that it's the real Vanguard site, so you don't accidentally give your information to a fake account. Then you are done and your money has been invested. When you want to check up on your account, you can go to Vanguard.com and select Personal Investors in the bottom left-hand corner. Then you log in the top right-hand corner. You can then view the value of your stock over time. For my account, a week after I bought it, it went from $1,000 to $1,014. This is good, and I expect it to grow even more as time goes on. But it's important to keep in mind that it really does not matter how your account does on a week-to-week or even a year-to-year basis, because eventually it will rise, and it's important to remember that you're focusing on long-term, not short-term. The point of this account is that you don't have to worry about your emotion getting in the way and destroying your investments. By it balancing on its own, you really don't even need to check up on the account. But if you want to, you always can. In the future, I plan to invest the money from my other savings account into this account because instead of having it just sit around, it can be invested into stocks and bonds. Because I won't be needing the money for a while, I know I can invest it and let it grow instead of just sitting around in an account. There are two main things I want you to remember from this. The first is about picking the date. You should remember that the more safe you want to be with your money, the earlier date you should pick. This is because the closer to the retirement date you pick, the more bonds it buys and the more stocks it sells, making there be less risk. So if you want to be riskier, pick a date later than your estimated retirement. And if you want to be less risky, pick a date sooner than your estimated retirement. The second thing I want you to remember is that this is a great investment because your emotions can't alter it. It automatically shifts from stocks to bonds as time goes on, so you don't have control over where it invests, meaning that you can't let your emotions get in and jumble everything up.